Your 20s are basically financial quicksand. Everywhere you look, people are buying cars they can't really afford, taking on student debt for degrees that may or may not pay off, and acting like overpriced avocado toast is a personality trait. Meanwhile, you're probably wondering if you're doing something wrong with your money or if everyone is just quietly winging it while pretending they have it all figured out. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The decisions you make with money in your 20s will decide whether your 30s are about building wealth or repeating the same paycheck to paycheck cycle on loop. Most people get this backwards. They think their 20s are for spending and their 30s are for getting serious. That's like deciding to train for a marathon the night before the race. My name is Susan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, habits, and why some people escape the financial hamster wheel while others stay stuck on it for decades. If you're tired of watching your bank balance hover around the same sad number every month, hit subscribe and like this video because today we're talking about 7 purchases that can genuinely change the direction of your financial future. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. These are patterns I've seen again and again in people who build financial independence early, including lessons learned from my own good decisions and some painfully bad ones. The people who win with money understand one thing most people ignore. Your 20s are when small, smart choices compound into massive results later. Money invested early multiplies, money spent on stuff that depreciates disappears. So let's start with purchase number 1. And this might surprise you because it's not something flashy. It's investing in a side hustle. And yes, that counts as a purchase. Most successful side hustles aren't free. They require upfront investment, whether that's equipment, tools, a website, software, or education to learn a valuable skill. In your 20s, this can be one of the highest return investments you'll ever make because it gives you leverage over your income and accelerates your financial growth faster than almost anything else. The best part about starting a side hustle in your 20s is that you usually don't have massive responsibilities yet. No mortgage, no kids, fewer fixed expenses. That gives you room to experiment. You can take risks, try things that don't work, and recover quickly. And if something does work, it can completely change your relationship with money long term. What most people get wrong is trying to start a side hustle that has nothing to do with their actual skills. Instead of chasing whatever looks profitable online, build on what you already know. If you're good with cars, start there. If you understand tech or websites, use that. If you take great photos, explore photography. The goal isn't perfection, it's alignment. Find something that fits your strengths and invest enough to do it properly. Purchase number 2 is investing in index funds, ideally through a Roth IRA or another tax-advantaged account. This is where your 20s give you an unfair advantage: time. Even small monthly investments compound into serious money when you start early. Waiting just 10 years can cost you hundreds of thousands in the long run. Index funds aren't flashy, but they're consistent, low cost, and spread risk across many companies. And inside a Roth IRA, your gains grow tax-free. The smartest move is automation. Invest the money before it ever hits your checking account, so you're never tempted to spend it. Purchase number 3 might sound indulgent, but it can be incredibly valuable. Buy a plane ticket. Travel while you're young, but do it intentionally. This isn't about luxury trips or showing off online. It's about gaining perspective, meeting people, and exposing yourself to different ways of living and thinking. The right travel experiences can shift how you see money, work, and opportunity in ways no textbook ever could. Traveling in your 20s builds confidence in a way few other things can. Navigating new cities, handling language barriers, and solving problems on the fly teaches self-reliance that stays with you for life. You also meet people from completely different backgrounds and industries, and some of those connections can matter more than you expect later on. A smart way to travel is by using credit card rewards responsibly. A good travel rewards card, used for normal expenses and paid off in full every month, lets you collect points for discounted or even free trips. The key is discipline. Never carry a balance. Done right, this not only lowers travel costs, but also helps you build a strong credit score, which becomes incredibly valuable when you're ready to buy a home or invest. Purchase number 4 is education, but not the kind that buries you in massive student loan debt. I'm talking about books, online courses, workshops, and skill-based learning that increases your value in the marketplace. A $20 book can completely shift how you think about money. A well-chosen course can teach skills that raise your income for years. Just be selective. Skip overpriced programs sold by people flexing rented luxury cars. Learn from people who have actually built real results. Your 20s are when your brain learns fastest, so every skill you pick up now becomes a long-term asset you carry for life. Purchase number 5 is the one that scares most people in their 20s, but can completely change your financial future: real estate. I know it sounds impossible when you're surviving on cheap groceries and side hustles, but hear me out, because there are creative ways to make this work even without a huge income. Real estate builds wealth in 3 powerful ways. Properties tend to grow in value over time, rental income can help cover the mortgage, and leverage lets you control a valuable asset with a relatively small down payment. One smart strategy is house hacking. You buy a place and rent out part of it. That could mean a duplex, roommates, or even short-term rentals if your area allows it. The goal is simple. Let other people help pay your mortgage while you build equity. It's more work than investing in index funds, but the long-term upside can be massive. Purchase number 6 might sound boring, but it's one of the most important decisions you'll make in your 20s. Cheap, reliable transportation. Notice I didn't say a nice car. Most people finance cars they can't afford just to look successful, locking themselves into payments that quietly drain their future. Cars aren't investments. They lose value the moment you drive them off the lot and keep costing you money every month. Instead, think practical. A 3 to 5-year-old reliable car like a Honda or Toyota, ideally paid in cash or financed for a short term. These cars last forever if you take care of them and cost far less to insure and repair. The real win is what you do with the money you don't spend on car payments. Investing even a few $100s a month instead can turn into hundreds of thousands over time. And when you're not stressed about a car bill, you gain something even more valuable: flexibility to take risks and make smarter career moves. When you don't have unnecessary monthly payments weighing you down, you gain freedom. You can leave a job you hate, start a business, or take a role with long-term growth instead of chasing the highest paycheck. And one of the biggest freedom killers in your 20s is a car payment. Cutting those kinds of obligations is often the first real step toward financial independence. The 7th and final life-changing purchase is investing in your health. This one is constantly overlooked because the payoff isn't immediate, but it quietly affects everything else. Your energy, focus, and ability to work consistently all depend on it. I'm not talking about luxury gyms or expensive trainers. I'm talking about basics most people ignore in their 20s because they feel invincible. Eating real food instead of surviving on caffeine and fast food. Sleeping enough instead of running on exhaustion. Moving your body in some way that's more than walking to the fridge. Your 20s are when you build habits that either support your future or slowly sabotage it. Poor health doesn't just lead to medical bills later. It costs you opportunities. It limits how hard you can work, how long you can stay consistent, and whether you'll actually have the energy to enjoy the wealth you're building. Financial success is a long game, and it requires physical and mental stamina. Think of health as a performance investment. Better sleep leads to better decisions. Better nutrition gives you stable energy. Exercise improves focus and stress management. These aren't optional extras. They're the foundation that makes everything else possible. And that's what all 7 of these purchases have in common. They're not about looking successful right now. They're about setting yourself up to win long term. Every one of these choices requires you to think differently than most people in your 20s. While others focus on looking successful right now, you're focused on actually becoming successful over time. This is where the idea of compounding goes far beyond money. Every smart decision you make early builds on itself. Skills from a side hustle increase your value. Investments grow quietly over decades. Connections from travel or education can open doors years later. And every month without a car payment gives you more freedom to build real wealth. Your 20s aren't about looking successful. They're about building the habits that give you real freedom later. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and check out our other videos.